A dynamic and responsive running experience, right from its vibrant toe-off to its specific dialed-in cushioning, and finally longer-term outsole durability are among the top reasons why I love the HOKA Skyflow as a daily trainer. After having run almost 100 miles in these shoes, I'm ready to share my thoughts and my opinions in this thorough review. It's time to run in the HOKA Skyflow. Some are calling this the next generation of HOKA daily training shoes and are also asking if this is going to replace the Clifton model. For the foreseeable future, the Clifton is not going anywhere. HOKA is still releasing the Clifton 10 this year. We don't have a crystal ball view of whether or not there will be a Skyflow version 2 at this point. What this shoe is, in my opinion, is a shoe meant to place itself between two specific shoes already in the HOKA lineup. Now, which shoes specifically? Great question. I'll answer that for you here as well as all the ins and outs that you'll want to know before buying the HOKA Skyflow. Now, before I start this review, I just need to go over a couple of disclosures. These were provided to me for free for the purpose of review. These opinions and observations are my own, and no one gets to preview, edit, or provide feedback prior to me posting this video here. I'm not sponsored by HOKA, and no one is paying me to make this video. Lastly, if you like any products seen in the video, I provide Amazon affiliate links in the description box. If you don't know what an Amazon affiliate link is, it's a quick and convenient way for you to browse and purchase products I've shown in the video, i.e. these shoes and other accessories. And in turn, if you use the link and buy something with that link, I receive a small portion of that commission sale. And because using the link doesn't add any additional cost to you, you're essentially supporting me with the purchase you've made. So be sure you check out any links below for any products you like in the video. Now let's get to the review. Before I even put these shoes on, I had some initial thoughts about the shoes. What I want to do is go over those thoughts and impressions now before I even tested them. So there's much more cushioning than I initially anticipated based upon the feel of the sidewalls of the midsole when I took them out of the box. And I honestly assumed these shoes would be a little bit more stiff, but they're perfectly cushioned as a daily trainer. By the end of my first run, I was thoroughly impressed and more than happy with the cushioning from these shoes. So now let's get into some of the details, like the upper colorways and overlays. And let's cover the colorways first. Frost and Gold is the name of this colorway, and I am a big fan. It's a simple look, and it also has a nice air of elegance. Stating the obvious, yes, these shoes have certainly gotten dirty over the subsequent miles that I've put these through. I understand that this is more of a fair weather colorway. However, sometimes you just got to splash around and have fun on your runs, come rain, snow, mud, you name it. So this upper is crafted from HOKA's own Creole jacquard mesh. It's a material that's incredibly forgiving, breathable, soft, and oh so comfortable. So this provides the perfect amount of give I require, ensuring my forefoot and toes remain securely positioned for each stride. Moreover, the extended sections of the toe box is meticulously sized, offering ample room for my toes to splay freely. Now, these overlays are fairly simple looking at first, but they have an ace up their sleeve, and I'll talk about that in a second. You can see the HOKA logo here on the lateral last of the shoe, and on the medial side, just below the collar, you can see the HOKA bird. Gold stripes adorn the top of the toe box and the top of the tongue around the lacing channel, and then on the back of the counter, the name of the shoe is presented again in gold. Now, referring back to the collar again, there's blue lettering, and yet the Y in Skyflow is white and also in a different format, a different font. So I'm not really sure what this distinction comes from or what it means. If anyone knows what it means, write it in the comments. As an added surprise, all of the previously mentioned overlays have an added bonus of being reflective. Yes, indeed, they are very reflective. HOKA calls this reflective kind of overlay flash film. However, I notice that the reflective accents do not continue all the way up around the collar. Initially, it appeared that this is a continuation of the lacing channel overlays. Not a problem by any means, but I thought it would be worth mentioning since it looked like it was the same materials in both places. So now let's do a night visibility test. Let's check out the shoes and their corresponding reflective overlays, looking at them from various angles using the time to run night visibility test. As previously mentioned, the shoe features multiple overlays. This means when light hits it, there are plenty of reasons for you to be seen and visible to motorists and to keep you safe during your night or morning runs. Hit that like button and please consider subscribing if you're finding this video helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And be sure you turn on the bell so you don't miss any notifications of when I put out new shoe reviews. So the tongue is a dual gusset style that's very secure and is perfectly padded, which appears much more natural than the standard rounded tongue. These are standard laces. It's straightforward and easy to understand. I found it was quite easy to get a secure lockdown. I didn't experience any kind of difficulties regarding lacing these up. The laces are also not bulky or sweat absorbent, nor are they so thin that they feel like they're putting pressure on specific areas of the foot. So I have no complaints there. I will also mention I typically have to lace the shoes all the way back to the furthest eyelet closest to my ankle, and I didn't have to do that with these shoes, so that was a nice bonus. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the collar. This sports the swallowtail design so familiar and popularized by HOKA. True to form, I didn't experience any kind of chafing or discomfort from the collar. I will say, I think just the singular gripe I initially had with these was that if I chose not to wear socks with these shoes, I noticed occasionally, just on walks, not on runs, the collar seemed to be more noticeable, particularly around my ankles, as if it was pressing up against the bottom part of my ankle bone. However, now I don't notice it anymore, so whether it was my ankles getting used to the sensation or the material simply broke in around the collar, this seems to have resolved itself. So all I would say about that is if you're experiencing the issue I just described with your own pair, just wear some socks and the problem should go away on its own. And I realize some of you are appalled at the idea of an individual not wearing socks. I will say I normally do, except on occasion. It's just not necessary. The temperatures outside are cool enough where there's no chance of foot perspiration. I'll say in general, my feet remain pretty dry overall. So let's talk about the heel counter. The heel counter is strong but not too rigid, a perfect fit combined with the laces to create an ideal lockdown and support me from ankle on up. Now, let's get into the midsole feel. These shoes are designed to be a daily trainer, designed to be used multiple times per week, with a stack height of 34 millimeters in the forefoot and 40 in the rear, giving us a 6 millimeter drop. These are shorter, of course, compared to the super tall Max Cushion Skyward X. And that was a shoe I reviewed last year, link up here in the corner. Now, like I said, this is meant to be a daily trainer. So talking about the specs, these sport an SCF EVA midsole, which I noticed was as cushioned as it was poppy and responsive. My experience in these has been great, and its responsiveness complements my stride. I was able to comfortably maintain my tempo paces as well as my easy paces. The Skyflow rocker geometry in the forefoot more than compensates for the less aggressive drop. It makes picking up the paces quite easy, enabling me to roll effortlessly through each stride. And being that this is still a daily trainer, and although it has great cushioning, it's not going to feel quite like the Bondi's level of cushioning, the next level of max cushioning recovery trainer. So on a scale regarding comfort alone, from moderate to maximum cushioning, I'd say this starts with the Clifton, followed by the Skyflow, topped off with the Bondi. And that is from minimal to maximal in that order. The feeling of lightness underfoot in this midsole is incredible. Each shoe weighs individually 11.4 ounces or 324 grams. And I know that sounds like a big number. It does sound like a huge number. I don't understand how that works. How is that even possible? 323 grams? I'm going to go measure that real quick. Give me a second. I want to double check that. Sometimes you just got to double check your specs. So indeed, this is 323 grams. I'm struggling with that number because it doesn't feel heavy. So I think if you struggle with that number, just know it's a US men's size 12. There is a lot of midfoot here, so that adds it. And of course, the rubber adds some weight to it. But honestly, this feels super lightweight. So don't be distracted by the number 320 grams. This will make running in these shoes for longer distances very enjoyable. So one of the nice visual features of this midsole is the contoured lines that can be seen on the lateral portion of this shoe. They're a really nice touch. It's even really good on this side as well too, but I really like that design. Now, I'd love to hear from you as to which shoe in the daily trainer category you'd like me to review next, and which brand. Please leave the name of the shoe in the comment section down below, and we'll do our best here at the channel to get that reviewed for you. A blue outsole with a white gold shoe? Beautiful. Starting with this valley or canyon, we have exposed midsole foam. This doesn't reach the road. There are several more channels that separate each rubber pad, which could be useful for channeling out rain. Strategically placed raised rubber pads on the outsole should, for all intents and purposes, make for a very durable outsole. Thus far, I've put in over 75 miles. Actually, no, that's not true. It's about, it's just over 80 miles. And thus far, the outsole is holding up really well. Kind of surprised by it, especially in this area. This is usually where I get the most wear in all my shoes. If you see any shoe review that is like a longer mileage shoe review, I'm always going to point out this area of the shoe. And this so far is holding up quite well. All right, so how did it feel like running in these shoes? My inaugural run consisted of a 4-mile followed up with an 8-miler a day or so after. The runs went really well. I felt, especially on my first run, these did flawlessly. But not only that, with each subsequent run, these shoes did not disappoint. I really enjoy running in them. And I will say, in comparison between this shoe and the Mach 6, another very popular shoe I reviewed in September of last year, although these shoes are both daily trainers, they feel very different due to each of them having a different emphasis area. These aren't very similar despite being in a similar category. They both provide a good amount of cushioning even in sub-freezing temperatures. However, this shoe is one you'll want for more of those longer sessions and those recovery miles. The Mach is better for picking up the paces and doing tempo more on the regular. A simplification of where this lands in the HOKA lineup and where it's placed between two shoes, like I was talking about before, are the Clifton and the Bondi. It's so right between those two shoes. Beyond that, we have the Skyward X, that Enigma carbon-plated recovery shoe I reviewed mid-2024. Each of these shoes offers a slightly different experience. So if you historically like the ride of the Clifton but you want max cushioning, I'd pick the Bondi. But if you're wanting something between the two, slightly more cushioning than the Clifton and slightly less, more poppy than the Bondi, I'd go with the Skyflow. So these were released in 2024 at $160 US. And be sure you check out my Amazon affiliate links in the description box below. Often you might see discounts there, so be aware of that too. So the next shoe in the HOKA lineup that I'll be reviewing is likely to be the Bondi 9. Be sure you're subscribed now so you get notified when that gets released. Thanks in advance for subscribing and sharing these videos with your family and friends. But in the meantime, are there any other HOKA shoes you're hoping I give my opinions on and get a review out for you? Please let me know in the comments and we'll see if we can work that out. So in conclusion, I really have been enjoying my experience running in these shoes over the last 85 plus miles. HOKA really knocked it out of the park with this entirely new shoe model. I'll continue to use this one as a part of my daily trainer rotation in the meantime, until I've reached a point at which I'll do a durability and longevity test for you. So that concludes my review of the HOKA Skyflow. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know by hitting the like button if you did, and please leave a comment down below if you have any further questions. Lastly, what category of shoe do you plan on purchasing next? Is it a daily trainer like this one? Is it a speed day shoe or a max cushion / recovery day shoe? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching, and if anybody asks you what your favorite running YouTube channel is, just tell them it's time to run. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.